Oh, yay, I'm the only one. Hi there. Hope everybody is doing great today. We are going to get started in just a few minutes. Brian, have you signed in? You have? Like I said, I hope everybody is having a fantastic day today. We're going to start in a few minutes. It's about 4 or 5 till from my perspective, and we're going to see if we can get some more people on the call. If not, then we're going to start in probably about 8 minutes. So like I said, I hope that you are all having a wonderful day. Certainly a good day here in Alabama. Lots of things to talk about today. We're going to be talking about emotions. I've got my dog Potcakes here, and Brian's here. Welcome, welcome, Brian. Hi. He's in the next room, so not only is he here in the webinar with me, he also is in the next room. Potcakes is now going to see how he's doing. So we are going to just wait a little bit and see how emotions. It's one of my favorite chapters by far. It's a very important chapter because when we learn to control our emotions, then we can make our lives 100% different.
You've got mail.
Sorry guys about that. Just need to check on something for just a minute while we're waiting. Hope you don't mind just a second of searching for stuff. Just doing a little bit of checking here. Hi, Wendy. Glad to see you. What I was checking was to make sure that we had the right link because we had a webinar in the last series that I did when nobody, I was in one room and everybody else was in another. And it took me back to those days when I was in high school and had been stood up by my date. I'm sad to say it happened. And my mother was there trying to comfort me while the guy didn't show up. And that was what was happening the night of the webinar. I was waiting and waiting, and suddenly people start texting, where are you? Where are you? And I was in a different room. So I wanted to make absolutely sure they were all on the same page and in the same room tonight. So Wendy, I am so glad that you're here with us. We are going to talk about these very important emotions. Today is Brian's last day with us, and so that has yielded some sad emotions, but also we're going to talk about how we can flip those emotions around when we're feeling sad. And we can learn, not all the time, because sometimes it's okay to be sad, obviously, but we're going to learn that we don't want to focus so much on the negative emotions that we have and how we can prevent that from ruining our day or ruining our life, really, because a lot of times we let our emotions get the better of us. I know I certainly have, and I'm sure that other people have experienced the same thing I have. So while we wait for a few minutes, I'm going to show this fun little video. Hold on just a moment. Well, it seems that that's not going to work. I love technology. I love technology. I couldn't get that video to work. It's okay. All right, so we're going to wait just about 5 minutes, maybe not 5, maybe 3 minutes to give everybody a chance to get here that's going to show up, and then we'll start. Brian was nice enough to come check on me to say, why is this not working? I don't know. Like I said, technology is not really my strong suit, but that's okay. We go over here to the chat. Hi, everybody. Glad that worked for you to get in again. There has to be a better way, but I don't yet know it. And so when I figure it out, I think I'll do much better. All right. I know it's only been a minute, but I'm still going to start. I'm going to shut the door so I have to hear myself in here in this room. Okay, so the reason why our emotions are so important to us is because they really set the barometer for our energy, and our energy is important because that's what we attract into our lives. Now, as we've talked about in the first couple of weeks, that thoughts become things, and also our feelings and emotions draw things to us. And so I learned that the dominant emotion that I was having was unhappiness, and it had really permeated who I was. I felt it because I was just sitting with people all day long, every day, who were sad, and I picked up their sadness and I picked up their emotion, and then it kind of crept into me. It was like it was in my pores, their sadness. And so when I learned that I needed to change that, and I needed to start seeing things in a different way, because I didn't want to keep living like that. And that's what I did. And that's when I became inspired to teach Infinite Possibilities, and that's why we're here together. And even though there are only a couple of people here now, on all the replays and in the original one, there are lots of people watching. And I hope that the last couple of weeks have been important to you, and that you've learned things about yourself and about the way your thoughts are affecting you. We use our emotions as a feedback system to tell us how we feel about the world. When we pick up thoughts and emotions, we can see if something feels good to us or something feels bad to us. I experience that quite a lot with my clients. So in the last week or so, I've had several trials, and I've also had some depositions. And I can look at the people that are sitting with me, and they're sitting in the chair across from me or the chair next to me, and I can feel their emotion. And it's not usually very good. So they're going through a divorce. And the emotions they may feel may be sadness, or there may be happiness, it may be neutrality, or it might be nervousness or stress. So I was in the deposition a couple of days ago, and the guy was shaking. He was just trembling. And this was a guy I was about to cross-examine. And I wondered, as he was doing that, what was he thinking? Was he thinking that I was going to be mean to him, which I wasn't? Was he thinking that I was going to try to discredit him or to humiliate him? Certainly I could have. The facts of the case were such that they were very, very disturbing facts, but I didn't do any of those things. But his emotions were coming across clearly to me that he was stressed and was feeling a lot of anxiety. So his perception and beliefs about me and about the situation were what caused those emotions in him. And if you take a look at it, your perceptions and belief are what cause all your emotions. So, I talked about the blind dates, and a lot of my stories are relationship centric, because if there's any area in my life where I've had a lot of negative emotions, it's probably been around relationships. Now, I suppose it's no surprise that I ended up in a divorce lawyer career, because I already had a lot of negative thoughts and beliefs about relationships, and that carried forward into emotions. So when somebody does something in my life that makes me feel rejected, and this had to do with relationships with men, and I'm sure that I learned it from my family, I would feel not good enough. Not feeling good enough would make me feel sad, would make me feel hopeless, and would make me feel unimportant. And so when you think about how it makes you feel, I suddenly realized that only just recently, that what those people that didn't want to be with me, or didn't like me, weren't interested in what I had to say, those don't impact who I am. But yet I was letting so much of what they thought about me color who I was and make me feel unhappy or sad. And it was really, it was kind of ridiculous the way I would let somebody's rejection of me turn me upside down and make me doubt myself. And now I know that it doesn't matter what they think. And then it even took me longer to realize that it didn't matter what people think in a professional capacity. There's another lawyer that doesn't treat me well. I remember when I was a young lawyer, there's a very, very grumpy lawyer in town, and he and I are good friends now, but he would be so hateful to me. And I know that's his way. I've seen him do it to many other lawyers since then, but it would make me feel so small. And I would be on the call with him, and he would be telling me how superior he was because he'd been practicing longer than me, and his client was better than mine. And I would feel stupid. And so now I laugh at him. But I turn my perception around. And so part of what we do in this chapter on emotions is we look at all those things that make you feel less than the amazing person that you should feel like. What is it? Is it that you've been rejected by a boyfriend? Or maybe it's something like somebody doesn't answer your text message. Now that goes back to the boyfriend. But what is your perception? Or what if somebody doesn't answer an email on time? What is your perception about that? Now, a friend of mine talked to me recently, and she said, is somebody mad at me? And she asked the question if this person was mad, and I said, no. And she said, well, they haven't answered my text messages. And I said, well, they're going through this or that, but do we automatically assume that it's because they don't like us or they're mad at us? Or do we take that on and do we create emotion around that? Sometimes we do. So I'm going to ask you to tell me, and I'm going to see if I can pull this off. I don't know if I can, but we're going to see. I'm going to see if I can invite you guys to come on with me. This is a new feature, and so what's going to happen is it's going to bring up a little screen and invite you to join the call. So I'm working on that right now. I will acknowledge that I have not been good at that before, but we'll see if anybody can get on. Ah, Sarah, yay. Awesome. Hey, Wendy, good. Gonna see if I can invite Wendy. So Sarah, I'm gonna put you on the spot a bit. So hi, hold on just a second. I'm gonna figure this out. I know I feel so sure. Unmute now. Sarah, are you on? Well, you're on a webinar, obviously. Do you have a webcam, Sarah? I don't have a mic. Okay. Well, at least I know that it's not my fault. This it's not because I didn't do something correct with the technology. No, okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay, let me figure this out. Okay. Now we're back here. So I guess you guys are going to have to write me. And Sarah, since I put you on the spot first, I'm working using my computer too. Okay. So Sarah, tell everybody, or Brian, tell everybody what it is that causes you to feel negative emotion. So I shared a number of things for me, mostly related to my relationships, but there are certainly things that happen in a day-to-day capacity that make me feel confused. I'm going to see if I can bring Brian back. Money, okay. And what is it about money that makes you feel, Sarah said money, that makes you feel negative? Worry that I'll run out. So you have a feeling of scarcity around money. And worry is obviously not an emotion that we want to focus on too long. And I understand, because I have spent a lot of time worrying myself. And so the way we have to think about it is, if we can just flip the thought, is that there's plenty of money. Now, the way that I have handled my negative emotions around money is I just remind myself of all the times when money came in easily. And I remind myself that there's plenty of money, and that money is energy, and that money is just another way of exchanging energy. And Brian, do you have anything to say about money? Let me see if Brian can help.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. Hold on. Okay, we can hear you.
About money, I have a few things to say about money. Yeah, for most of my life, I've struggled with money blocks and financial situations. So I know that money's energy, and I know all of this conceptually. So I'm just committed to maintaining a really good attitude about it, and continuing to transform what I think about it. So I know that by doing that, I'm creating something really magnificent, and I just have to stay the course, and I just have to continue this feeling that I've mastered, because it's about time for the rubber to hit the road. And I have no doubt that amazing financial situations are coming my way, but I can't lose sight of that. I can't dip back into the feeling that I've had my entire life. And I recognize it, and I know what it feels like. So as soon as I start to dip back there, I can, use this awareness that I've created to know that I'm headed back into, where I was before, and I don't want to go there. So it's all about moving forward, and
Right. Thank
journey.
you. Thank you, Brian. So, and Sarah said, and of course, for some reason now I can't add her back to the group. Can't add her back to the group chat. But so just finding a flip for every thought that we have. So when we start to worry about money, what we always talk about at the office is we always just focus on that money flows to us, money comes into us, and we just kind of keep that as a mantra. So, and for when I get upset with people at court, I have the idea to have a mindset of I'm calm, I'm strong, I'm powerful. And a lot of it comes, I guess, a lot of the things now that I'm talking to you about it, it seems that it comes from feelings of not being good enough. That when I was confronted with other lawyers that were much more experienced or older than me, and I perceived them as being better than me, I would start feeling negative emotions. I would start feeling a lot of insecurity. I would start feeling a lot of fear to have to deal with these people. But I talked myself into a different situation. And that's really what this chapter is about. It's about teaching you how to flip the thought. It's what Mike Dooley says. How can you flip the thought? How can you come out of that negative emotion that you're feeling into one that feels better? And Sarah said, I feel it's coming too. Yeah, and so, my friend Jonathan always says that it's already here. The money's already here. So if you just say, I'm abundant, money comes to me, and I learned this a long time ago to talk about being a money magnet. I'm a money magnet. Money's attracted to me. Money flows to me. And it's always worked. It's always worked for me. Money has always come easily. But sometimes that's where we go back to those beliefs, right? So what's that deeper feeling than what you're saying? Is there a belief somewhere that you don't deserve it? I know that a lot of people have different blocks, and for me, it's definitely around relationship. And so I have to work more, I guess we shouldn't say that. It's more challenging for me. So I have to really dig under, and I have to say, what is at the bottom of these negative emotions around relationship for me? And where do they come from? And so I find it in these deepest hidden parts. And Sarah, putting you on the spot again, so Sarah, do you have any, can you trace like your fear or your worry about money back to when you were younger or to another time in your life? And I'm going to let you answer. Brian, single mom with 6 kids. Oh, wow. Your mom had 6 kids, struggling a lot, right? So that's the kind of thing that you have to really work on. I mean, and Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about breaking the habit of being yourself, and he says that once we get to a certain amount once we get to a certain place in our life, we have got so many neural pathways wired to thinking a certain way. And if you have something hammered into your mind a lot by your family or the people around you, then it's just part of you. And I think when I was a kid and my mom would never really acknowledge anything that I did, and so she didn't create any feeling of empowerment in me. I had to figure that one out by myself. It was always, she didn't acknowledge that I made great grades or that I was this or that. I would ask her, are you proud of me? And she'd be like, you did, it's good, it's fine. She didn't put any emphasis on at school or grades or anything. And she said later she just didn't want to put pressure on me. When I asked her, I said, why didn't you encourage me? Why didn't you say you're smart, Lee? Why didn't you say you can do anything, Lee? But she said she didn't know any better. And I think that's true. I mean, I'm not, going to blame her. I'm just going to say that I carried with me that I wasn't as good as other people. Other people make money, but not us. Yeah. So you see how those things get to us, right? What about you, Brian? Putting you back on. What do you think you carried from your family?
Well, you were talking about how, what your mom said to you, and my dad always said things like, I would be really proud of something that I did. You know, I was very musical, and I'd be really proud of something that I performed, and I would always so excitedly be like, you know, Dad, what'd you think? And he would always say, pretty good. It's good. It never matched my excitement. It never matched my passion. So I think that I've always had a feeling that I wasn't quite, I was never quite as good as everybody else. I've never had the feeling, which I'm currently stepping into, I've never had the feeling that what I have to offer is worthy and valuable, and that people, you know, I'm getting emotional today already. But no, I've never had the feeling that what I have to offer is valuable, and people, you know, money is energy, and it's an exchange. But I've never thought that what I have to offer the world is valuable to other people.
So, you know, that made me think about what we have been through. And Sarah, I know that you have a lovely little boy who was kind enough to be part of our contest and for Divorce Your Bad Habits. And I wonder if you could practice, how receptive you would be to practicing saying abundant money things to your son about how we have money, money flows to us, we are abundant, or, you know, money's here for us, without him wanting you to buy new video games. But if you could just practice that self-thought, that self-taught to him, like we realize what we learned. I know we realized what we learned from our parents, and we want to do better, right? So when I don't have children, but I do have an assistant that's been with me for 10 years, and I always tell her, you can do anything you want, and you're amazing, and I believe in you, and I do. And I know that I would never have the same situation with anyone around me. Maybe that's why part of my mission, or what I believe my mission is in this world, is to encourage and promote and empower other people, because that was something I never had. And so it's really important for me to do that now. So when we get in these bad places, what do? How do we get out of them? Now, for me, I like to write. And so I always struggle, feeling great, believe you can be successful, but it's going to be rough, right? We can flip the thought, and we can work on feeling better. And I know a lot of us know about Abraham Hicks, and they say just reach for the next best feeling. Because, of course, our idea, and I can speak about it even though there are some people that will be watching the replay, they don't know about the law of attraction, but the idea is to have the very best feeling we can have at any given time, and to keep our vibration in a higher place so we can draw all the good stuff to us. So we don't want to stay there. We can have those negative emotions, but it's when we stay in those negative emotions that we cause the vibration to go down. I remember when I was on a trip, and in the car with us, it was a 20-hour-long trip across Turkey, of all places. And in the car was my best friend James and his partner and my assistant Tiffany. And his partner was so negative. He's not watching, I don't think. Anyway, he was always complaining. And by the end of the trip, I felt my own vibration because the emotions were frustration and stress, and being in a tiny car for 20 hours with so much of that tension, I felt like a different person. It took me days to come back around and to feel like myself. So we even have to be aware of the emotions of the people around us. How many of you know about that? What about you, Sarah? I'll ask you first. Have you ever felt or picked up emotions from other people and then realized those aren't even my own emotions? I'm just picking that up from somebody else. Because energetically, I learned that we can either entrain up and pick up people's high vibration, or we can go down and we can pick up people's low vibration. And in that situation, I definitely picked up the low vibration. And so I think if you're not really strong on your emotional, if you don't really feel strong, then that's level to happen, like a seesaw. Started to notice when I'm, yeah, right. What about you, Brian? In the show, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to learn to be really stable in how we feel, because I mean, the people that are around us, if they're harboring a different energy, if they're harboring a different vibration, then whoever is more, stable in that feeling is gonna win out. Or I mean, the vibrations, the energies, they can't coexist. And
Yeah, that's
so
good.
we have to know how we want to feel, and we have to be the ones that affect other people. We can't let these other low energies and low vibrations affect us, because we're constantly, every single second, affecting everyone around us. I think about that a lot, how we're constantly emitting a vibration whether we realize it or not. We're constantly affecting everyone around us. So, and we have to be aware of that, because we're either affecting or being affected.
Right, right. That's good. Let me check. Um, I'm checking to see if Wendy's here. It doesn't look like Wendy's made it back. She said she got kicked off a couple of times. Wendy, let us know if you're here. Um, okay. So I think that's right. I mean, when I walk into the courtroom, I have to mentally prepare myself. Or when I go into depositions, I have to kind of ground myself. Now, I didn't even know what grounding was. So if you're like me and you think, what in the heck is that? I kind of just have the idea now that it's when you just get really clear on how you intend to feel. You really set yourself. Now you can put your feet on the floor, like somebody told me to feel through my toes. Regina Garapi said that. And I said, feel through my toes? What is that? Breathe through my toes. And I knew that my toes had not been breathing recently, but, well, maybe they have. And so I tried to think about, okay, my feet are on the ground, I'm breathing in through my toes, and that's to ground you. When I used to go to church, I grew up in the church, the Methodist church. There's a song about shifting sand. I'm not going to sing it to you, but it's a pretty good song. And it talks about, is your house built on shifting sand, or is it built on solid rock? And I want my house to be built on solid rock. And most of my life, it was definitely built on shifting sand. I was up and down depending on what was happening around me. And now I am not. I catch myself. I was in depositions a couple of days ago, and I caught myself being very mean. Well, being a little being a little. I don't even know what to say. I told the other lawyer she was crazy. Okay, I didn't mean to be upsetting to her, but she'd already told me once before that I was condescending. So I knew before I got there that she was intimidated by me. And when I told her that she was crazy and ridiculous, I thought, oh, I immediately had gone back into bitchy lawyer. And so I said, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be disrespectful. And I really just took a step back, because I know that we can fall back into our pattern. So it can come with me turning into bitchy lawyerly, and it can come with Sarah, with you worrying about money, or Brian, you not feeling empowered or good. I mean, it's what our habit is. That's not in this course, that's in the other course I taught, but we easily fall back into that. So what is your fallback? Now, I know that I have a bitchy lawyer alter ego that I would like to see say goodbye, because it doesn't make me feel good. I don't like feeling like that. And unfortunately, in this career that I'm in, I'm called upon often to question people, and it may not sound like I'm very loving, but I learned that your intention that you put behind the things that you're doing is what's important. So if I'm questioning them from a place of love and acceptance, and not from a place of what a piece of shit you are, then I'm going to be different, right? It's going to feel different to me. And what's the most important thing, like I said a minute ago, is for us to have the best feeling we can. So Sarah, what is one situation that you can think of that you have a fallback, an alter ego, that's not that peaceful, calm person? Because I think that once we can talk about what's going to make that let go of the house. Okay, so do you have the tendency to try to work things out and try to figure out how things are going to work. Is that what you mean by the house? You're going to let go of the house? To controlling. Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely an easy one to slip into because, and I imagine that you may have learned that when you were growing up too. So I was talking to somebody in a call recently who was talking about having responsibility and how irritated she got with having responsibility for other people. And we could, that's great. That's awesome, Sarah. And we could totally take it back, though, to her childhood. What about you, Brian? What's one thing that you can feel that you can kind of slide back if you don't pay attention? The shifting sand. What's your shifting sand?
The shifting sand. It's funny. I'm moving to the beach. Oh Lord. It's comfort for me. It's just feeling not ambitious. It's just feeling comfortable. You know, I could very easily slip back into the comfortable server life where I'm making enough money to pay my bills and enjoy my life, but I have to keep in mind that I have something very, very important to share, and I just have to stay aware of how I feel because it feels good to be comfortable, but that's a conditioned habit though because I felt like that my whole life. I've always just been comfortable.
Right, that's good. That's really sorry. That's really important because I think that when we change these thoughts and behaviors, it doesn't always seem easy, but it feels so much better when you can push past it and when you can get to that place that you know is better for you, right? You know it's better to challenge yourself and be ambitious. You know it's better to let go and not be controlling. I know it's better not to feel angry and hostile and like I want to eat a lot of cheese. Ugh. I know those things are better, but wow, I just have to continually flip the thought. But once you flip it enough, you can change it.
Right.
So, some things that we can do to flip thoughts. I like to write, and I also like to think about happy things that I've done. Sometimes I look at pictures. I can spend a long time. If I'm in a bad mood or had a sad day, I will just go through my pictures and look at all the happy times that I've had. And I have this little group of index cards where I write all the little happy memories and all the little things. Because sometimes when you feel like giving up and you feel so sad, you can look at those and you can remember that things are going to be better. And that's part of what I have done the last 2 years is I've just assembled hundreds and hundreds of memories. Now you may think, well, we all have memories, but do you use them to move yourself to a different place vibrationally? And that's a tool that I learned that has really worked for me. Because what we tend to do instead is stay stuck and stay in that feeling and not even try to feel better. So Sarah, what about you? Tell me one thing you might do to move yourself out of that place of feeling bad, feeling negative emotion. You're next, Brian. And Wendy, if you're here, we'd love to hear from you. What is one way that you feel? Affirmations, I'm good enough. Yeah, I've said that one a lot. What about you, Brian? I'll let you talk for a sec. What do you do to raise vibration?
I connect with people. I mean, when I look around just at the people that I'm surrounded by, because I refuse to let myself be around people that will not lift me up. I want to do nothing but uplift people, and I want to be uplifted. And by talking to people and connecting, and no matter where I am, I can connect and vibe with someone, and that just really gets me going. When I can have an instant connection with somebody that I don't even know, I thrive on that. It makes me feel so good.
Yeah, I noticed that. I used to work at Walmart when I was in high school, and I noticed that no matter how depressed and down I was, or how much my boyfriend had made me feel bad that day, that when I went to work and I talked to people all night long, I felt better. I would go home pumped up and happy because I had spent the whole day greeting people, saying how they were doing, and talking about whatever they were buying at Walmart. And who doesn't love those people that shop at Walmart, right? I mean, we all like those people. And so I like that. And then I was a door greeter, and who didn't like that? That's before they hired the old people. I was in high school, and I used to be a door greeter, and I would come back every night, and I would be happy. And I also have found that one of the best things for when I feel bad is to start telling people that I love them. Super careful who I'm around. Yes, that's good. I mean, Sarah, obviously we all go in different stages of making these changes that are going to make us feel better. And for me, when I came back from IP my first time, I had a group of girlfriends that gossiped and were so like backbiting all the time, and I just had to stop being around them. And it felt like I didn't have any friends, but it also didn't put me in that space of putting people down constantly. So we have to really choose. I think that's awesome. We have to choose where we put our attention. So those are all good things to do. And of course, we know that the reason we want to keep our emotions up is because we want to have a high vibration. So I'm going to show you somebody that has a high vibration and who's quite fun to watch. And you may have seen this video, but if you may like him as much as I do, let's watch Sean.
And what you're about to see is going to be intense. And, well, just say you've been warned. I have a question. What do you do to get pumped up? All right? Well, I'm going to show you what I do. And in fact, I'm going to take it to the next level because I want you to do it with me. I call it a dance party. Yeah. So, it's going to start off really simple. Just shoulders right now. And you might think, what is he doing? Why is he doing this? Because it gets your body moving and it makes your spirit feel good. So we're moving the shoulders. And then we're going to start to get the arms inboard. Good. It's called a dance party. And we're going to take it up a notch in a moment. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, he's going crazy. And I have. Because life is meant to be enjoyed. Alright, so now, you're going to lose it now in a moment. When the chorus really gets going, you're going to look around, make sure that you're alone when you do this, alright? It's called a dance party. And you do it about 3 times a day. You just get your favorite song on and you get your move on. Because life is supposed to be silly, not so serious. I know this is probably going to be like the most watched video, but dance with me anytime you want. Are you dancing? Are you laughing at me? You're laughing at me. I know you're laughing at me. I would laugh at me. So you're going to watch this anytime you want to feel good. you.
Okay, so, Sarah, I want to know, were you dancing? I was dancing. So I want to know, Sarah, I know Brian was dancing. I can see him. Yes, and Bob is dancing. Good. I love that little guy. And you know, when I was watching it, I was thinking about how people watch a lot of YouTube videos. And I was just thinking, you know, that's why. It's because it makes us feel good. And if we think about all the things we do to make us feel good, like watching American Idol. I mean, when I first came back from IP, every time I would watch these people sing, I would cry. I know, it's silly. I would cry because it was making me feel good. It was making me feel this empowerment for them. I was feeling it through them. So there's so many things we can do to make ourselves feel good. And so, you know, always when I'm teaching these classes and I have trainers on, I always think, you know, I'm preaching to the choir. Everybody knows this, right? But sometimes we don't do it. I have to say, in the last 2 years, I have become so much better. I'll tell you this story, and then we'll go. I have this contractor who lies to me all the time. I mean, this guy, I don't know why I've continued to work with him for almost 10 years, because he lies constantly. And it used to make me so angry, I would obsess over it. And now, I don't even care. I just think, you know, this is his stuff, and I forgive him, and so he's come to my house crying, I'm sorry, I love you, Lee. I wonder if there's a lesson that I should stop doing business with this contractor. Yeah, but anyway, so I used to really let him upset me, but it doesn't upset me anymore. I just know that it's not worth it. Like my friend Haviland says, it's not worth losing your peace of mind. It's not. Absolutely. So when we think of those things that cause our emotions to go off the deep end and cause us to go in the shifty sand, not in the good kind in Charleston, South Carolina, but in the kind of shifty sand that makes us feel like we're not good enough, that we're broke, that we're never going to get ahead, that people don't like us, that we care if people like us, we can stop it. And so we have to stop it, because next week we're talking about taking action. And I can't wait to share about taking action, because it has really made some incredible things happen in my life just by taking these steps, these action steps that I didn't know were going to yield such incredible results. So, Sarah, thank you very much for being here tonight. I am very happy to see you. And Brian, thank you for being here tonight. And Sarah, do you have anything to say before we say goodbye? Oh, I love you too. Yeah, I'm not supposed to end by crying. Anyway, so we'll be talking soon, and have a great night.